All right, guys, and welcome back to another video. So tonight, what we are going to do is the final stage of making the Budget EK a great winter beater. So last week we got our own dyno. We got the horsepower back up to about 183 wheel horsepower with a 155 wheel torque, I believe. I'll have to go back and look through the dyno sheets. But it makes a good 180 wheel horsepower on pump gas, full exhaust, catted, mufflered, whole 9 yards. Well, it's getting cold out here in Pennsylvania. Tonight it is 28 degrees. I'll have to go over on the thermostat and show you in a minute, but it is pretty cold outside. You can see the frost all over the car. I let it sit out there and warm up for a good 15 minutes, and it is still ice cold. So the final stage of this car before we start making snow videos or off-road videos or whatever we actually plan to do for some good content with this thing is wheels and tires and suspension. So I have never in my life bought a set of brand new snow tires. I didn't even know what snow tires were. I never even looked at snow tires until a couple of months ago when I moved to Pennsylvania. So these right here are Goodyear winter tires. They're supposed to be one of the best rated winter tires. They have spots so you can put studs in them. They have all these little grooves. They kind of look like little Jeep tires for Civic. We got them mounted up on a set of Circuit Motorsports Roto-Slip replicas or spoon replicas or whatever you want to call them. We got them in the matte gray finish to match the silver car to give it a nice little, nice look to it. And then we went for a set of REV9 full body, dampening adjustable coilovers. I hope these don't make it too low, but I did go with the higher spring rates. I believe there's a couple options for the spring rates. And if you ever look right here on this front spring, I believe it's 10K on the fronts and 8K on the rears because of the heavy boy H22. So hope you guys are ready to see the transformation of this car be complete. We got the lips on it, we got the exhaust on it, we got the H swap in it, we got the interior with the deer headliner. I got all the windows working, and now we're going to get winter wheels, winter tires, and some coilovers to complete the Budget H22. Hope you guys are ready for the video, and hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, 28 degrees outside. 64 in the shop, 28 outside. So I know I didn't show you in the dyno video of exactly how the exhaust look. So we're gonna get the car up on the lift right now and give you a sneak peek of exactly what the exhaust looks like and get to getting the wheels off. So this is what we got right here. We have our tri-Y header to a high flow cat, to a megaphone, to a full 3-inch exhaust. Don't look at the bad welds. I'm just getting the machine dialed in and I'm not that great at it yet. And then we have a nice vibrant muffler back here. Everything on this car actually seems pretty good. The brakes stop really well. If we shake this right here, you see there's no play in the wheel bearings. But the gap to the fenders right here, I am not a fan of. You can see there's no rust here, which is actually uncommon for one of these Pennsylvania cars. But we have tag and insurance on this thing, so we're gonna get the full body coilovers and the snow tires on, and then we're gonna get to doing some snow videos or something fun. But yeah, you can see wheel bearings look good on the front, all the way around. Car looks in rather good condition. I think I need to hook this back up. I don't know if it works or not, but let's get the wheels off and then we'll get into doing the coilover swap. All right, guys, so first step, as always, kill your impact battery. First step, as always, kill your impact battery. Glad we have another one right here. So, first thing I wanted to show you guys was the difference of tire we purchased for one. So this is a 195 55 15, and this is a 195 60 15. I don't know how way get the camera so you guys can see it a little better. So I don't know how well you're going to see it in the video, but the height completely different. The tread, all season, snow tire, and then just the overall look of the rim versus the rim. The reason why we went with such a tall tire, because this does have a Prelude transmission in it. It has a M2Y4. If you guys don't understand or don't know the gearing on one of those, it is very short. So the taller tire we can put on the car, the better. And one of the things when you're doing an H22 swap in an EK all motor, look at the lowest hanging part. So your oil pan's here and your header is actually right below it. So the first thing that's gonna hit the ground, if you hit anything, is gonna be that header. You see all the time online, people have these headers all smashed in and everything. It loses a little horsepower, but more than anything, it just puts back pressure on the motor. The smaller you have that pipe collapsed, the more back pressure you have. And the suspension right now, you can see at full droop how bad that axle angle is. With the aftermarket coil, the suspension might come down to about right here. So you won't actually put a lot of stress on these axles. If you guys read the shirt, this is the Boosted Boys axle breaker shirt. These are the Yonaka aftermarket axles for an H22 swap. So we should not be breaking axles, but anything can happen. So now that we got the wheel off, we're gonna get all the rest of the wheels off. I'll do that off camera, and then we'll get to knocking out the suspension. It is very easy. It is literally a 14 right here, 2 14s on the top, and then your strut comes out on the front. The rear is it's actually not harder, but it's a little more complicated because you have to get into the trunk and get to the bolts in the top and the trunk. But let me get the tires off and then we'll show you that. All right, guys, so these are the tools you will need to remove your factory shock and spring from your EK Civic. You're going to need a 17mm wrench, a 17mm socket, 14mm socket, some sort of ratchet, and then a 19mm wrench as well. If we go over to the car right here, I'll show you exactly what you need to remove. That lower bolt right there is a 17. It goes through both sides. So you're going to need your 17 wrench and ratchet. Loosen that. Your 14mm right there will actually remove the fork from the factory shock and spring. And then your upper bolts will be 14mm on the top up through here. Then once you get to the back of the car, your factory bolt right here on the bottom of the shock is a 19mm. If the shocks have been replaced and then you notice they look pretty new, that can or can't be welded onto it. And then this side is a 14mm. So what you need to do is put your 19 on this side, your 14 on that side, loosen that, go in the trunk, and you'll have to remove the carpet to the side, and there'll be two 14mm bolts on the top upper side of this. that you'll need to remove. I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse while I do it, and I'll get back to you once we have the suspension off the car. So as normal, Yoast built, nothing goes as planned. The front ones, I had to take the hammer to get the bottom knuckles off, even after I loosened the 14mm bolt that's supposed to release it. Good old Pennsylvania rust. And the rear ones, these things are actually so tall that the lower control arm that bolts down here doesn't actually let this move once you have it in the car. So I had to actually remove the lower control arm to allow me enough room to actually slide this down and pull it out of the car. As you see, the new one is a lot shorter. But if you notice when I was lifting the car, the amount of suspension travel in this factory setup is tremendous. Like the front control arm, right now it's in, natural state, but with the suspension in there, it was literally pushed all the way down as far as it could go. And you see with the sway bar, it actually lifts it up a little bit. So because I have about an inch taller tire, I can actually set the coilovers pretty low to get the desired 2-finger gap on the fender. I do want to have 2-finger gap all the way around the car because I still want full turning radius without killing the mud guards, without killing the front lip, without killing the exhaust, and keeping the car in decent looking condition. It is a little dented up if you see it in person, but it is, like I said, my winter car. So just want to make it as nice as I can without going too crazy on the budget. Let's get the new suspension on, let's get the wheels and tires on, and let's see this transformation begin. All right, guys, so it's been about 30 minutes. I have these last two, the driver's side front and rear coilover, all measured up, adjusted, preload set, and ready to go on. So removing the coilovers or factory shocks and springs is the same process, just backwards of installing them. So when you measure height and set up a set of coilovers, the easiest way to do it is put the car on jack stands, put one side of the car together, measure where you want the wheel fitment to be, pretty much get your finger gap, 2-finger gap you want. Of course, there is more weight in the front of a car, on a front wheel drive car, than anything. So your front suspension travel is going to have more preload on it. It's going to have more of everything. So if you leave about a finger gap more on the front, once you actually set the car down on the ground and it settles, the car should be pretty even. The easiest way to do it, like I said, is just do one side, set everything up, and then just replicate it on the other side. So I've already done that off camera, and I'm going to show you the results. So this right here is going to be the EK's new look, final form. The meaty 195/60 snow tires. Nice little tire shine from Meguiar's. If you notice, the back has a little bit up more than the front. The front has a nice 2-finger gap. The back has about a 1.5-finger gap. But when you set the car down on the ground and you measure from the floor to the lip of the fender, it is exactly 24 inches front to rear. So the slips look amazing. The Goodyears look amazing. The EK is almost like 100% daily driver ready. I did notice that we do have a little bit of oil misting still from the back of the motor. So I'm gonna start it up on the lift after I'm done with this video and see if I can find where the little oil leak or mist is from, because I did notice a little bit on the dyno after the runs. I was assuming it was just from how it was leaking before and the rest of the oil is just coming off the motor. It was so minuscule you could barely tell, but it still looks like it's leaking just a little bit. And I want to make sure this car is 100% winter ready before, you know, I get out there on the road and hurt the motor for no reason. But I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse now. I'm gonna stick the driver's side together, get the wheels and tires on, and then show you my favorite trick for putting tire shine on your car when you have a lift. All right, guys, so car is all back together, looking good, looking fancy. Here is going to be the tire shine tech tip. So if you have the lift, you should be able to rotate this pretty easily, right? As long as you have good tire shine. This is actually crystals, not McGuire's, like I said earlier in the video. Literally just take your hand, start spinning it, and then spray. And it will get a nice, even coat without looking all blotchy. And you don't have much residue on the rim. Let it set for a while before you take it outside. And voila, looks like a new car. All right, guys, so this is gonna close out the video. The EK is on its suspension outside, tire shined up. I just took it for a little drive down the road, and yeah, with the big 195/60s and the factory guards, even though it looks incredibly nice this low, we are gonna have to pick it up at least a couple of turns. So as soon as you turn, the tire hits the guard right here, and it already pulled it down. Even though we have clearance right here for your hand on the front and the rear, the front of the car hits the guards, and the rear of the car rubs when you start to turn. So, or when you shake the car back and forth. It does look incredibly clean this low, but we're gonna have to pick her up at least, like I said, a couple of turns on the coils just to get it so we're not scraping the guards. And we don't want to, you know, when it starts snowing, get snow up in there and rip all the fender out and everything. I did a little bit of work on the bumper lineup and the fender lineup right here. Like I said, I know this car is not perfect, but I want to make it as clean as possible for my winter daily driver. And it's pretty late. As you can see, the DA was sitting outside. It's got some nice frost on it. I haven't looked at the temperature. I don't even know how cold it is, but it is pretty cold. You can see all the cars are frosted up. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you haven't subscribed to YoSPILLed already, hit the little subscription button. Leave a comment down below what you think about the budget EK's look. You know, simple lips, headlights, fog lights, slipstreams, winter tires, and a vibrant exhaust from the outside. It does have, you know, an H under the hood, but from the outside, it looks like a simple, clean 99 2000 converted EK.